Hello and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. My name's Jon Watts and you've joined me at Drayton Park Golf Club. I'm in my swing studio and I'm going to do a video today on dealing with crosswinds. It was something I've been asked quite a bit following a video I did on dealing with up and downhill and into the wind and downwind, giving some calculations of how best to cope with the wind, how much effect it would have on the ball. So it's something I've been asked about with crosswinds, and it's quite a difficult one in terms of calculating how much effect it's going to have. But what I do want to show with the use of my GC2 launch monitor, my head measurement device as well, and the simulator, is how best to cope with crosswinds. What's your best option? Should you be playing with the wind? Should you be fighting against it? And hopefully you guys will start to see how much effect that will have as well. I've given myself a particularly tricky shot here on my Foresight Sports simulator. So I'm on the third hole of the Brabazon at the Belfry, which is a tough and a really good par 5. I've put myself 155 yards from the pin. And you guys, when I go ahead and hit this or hit these shots, will see the hole and the ball flight, so you'll have a real good idea what I'm talking about. It's 155 yards. The green is quite wide from left to right, but relatively narrow from front to back, especially where the pin is on the left-hand side. I've got to fly over water, over a bunker, and the front of the green rolls back towards the water. It's a particularly tough one. If you were going to miss this, the only saving grace is going long, really, because there is a bank at the back of the green. So the wind condition, I've given myself a crosswind, 24 miles an hour, of crosswind from left to right. It's also hurting me a little bit, so it's into from the left. Normally 155, slightly uphill. I'd be thinking around an 8 iron. I'm going to take a 7 to compensate for the fact that it's killing it a little bit with the wind. What I'm going to try and do first of all is hit a shot straight at the pin, or started at the pin, and just show you how much that wind is going to affect it with a 24 mile an hour crosswind, which is particularly strong. Let's give it a go. So I'm, if possible, trying to just hit a stock 7 iron, not moving it greatly at that pin. Well, that felt about as solid as I can hit it, and it started bang on target. It's gone the right yardage. It's finished in the right-hand trap. You can see how much movement there was there. It's finished 23 yards. Right of target. So it's almost gone a yard right for every 1 mile an hour wind there, and it's really moved that ball. I started it half a degree right of target and I had 500 revolutions draw spin. So it was that would have finished pretty much bang on target, very neutral ball flight. I was very, very happy with the strike, but you can see how much movement we had right of target. So what are the options? What are my best options here? For me, I've got two options that I'm really thinking of. I either play with the wind, or I fight, excuse me, or I fight against it. So I always prefer to really use the wind when I can. In this particular situation, with the pin tucked on the left, and I don't want to miss it left, I might actually start it more at the pin and accept the fact it's going to finish just right of target. Or play for something just, similar line to what I just hit, but something maybe one less club that's coming up short of the bunker and giving myself a long putt. What I'm going to use today is just to try and get it as close to this pin as possible. So I'm not going to have safety in mind. I want the ball to finish as tight and as close to this left-hand pin as possible. So the two options I've got, as I said, is either play with the wind or fight against it. So playing with the wind, what I want to do, the targets here, I'm trying to pick a particular start line. So I'm looking at the V in the trees on that left-hand edge of the V, which is a good 20-odd yards left of the pin, but you've just seen how much effect it had moving it. So I'm trying to pick something a good 20, 25 yards left of that pin and accept that the wind's going to be moving it right to target. Now, the only problem I find golfers have with this one is they know they need to aim left. They aim left maybe with the club but not their body, or with their body but not their club, which is going to create more fade or slice spin in this wind, will really be disastrous. Or they get their alignment okay, but when they look up, they're looking back at the pin. I really want you to focus on your start line. Try and pick a very exact start line. It doesn't have to be something you can reach, it can be something way in the distance, but the more specific, the better. So I'm going to be aiming my club at the left-hand edge of this V, that point in the tree. That's where my club's going to be going. I'm going to then set my body parallel to it, only be focusing on that point and try and commit. Same swing if I can at that point there and just allow the wind to take it. It's a really tough one, this. I've had a few practice shots, and if you do get the ball moving at all from left to right, it really takes it. So it is a particularly tough one. But I'm going to be aiming my club left where I want the ball to start, my body parallel to it. Really focus on that point and commit to it. I'm really happy with that. Again, I don't think I could have hit it more solid. Started where I really wanted. Moving right, yes, but you definitely take that. That's finished pretty close to that pin, really, considering it just moved 9 yards right of target. At less than a 30-foot putt. I think I'd definitely take that with this tough shot. Really happy with that one. My other option is to fight against the wind. What I'm going to do is really try and hit a low, trappy draw. So I'm going to actually take one more club again. So I'm going to be taking a 6-iron. Remember, this would be about an 8-iron distance. I've already compensated by taking the 7 playing with the wind. But I'm just trying to hit a low, punchy draw, really. So really fighting against the wind. This is a much tougher shot to play. Does require some practice. It's great if you've got both options. But I think the first option I've played of playing with the wind is the much easier option, the more sensible one, as long as you're focusing on that start line. So one more. I'm really going to be playing that ball back. I'm going to be aiming my body right. So my club face is closed to my body line. I'm really trying to hit that low, punchy draw to fight against this wind. Tough shot, but let's give it a go. Oh, that felt great, but it's not moved enough into that wind. Should we just try and hit one more? It's a tough shot, this. I did get it drawing. So it started right, it drew. I need that to start less right of target, really. So closer to the target line and move left to counteract that wind. Let's try one more. That felt good. I definitely felt like a hook, that. Guys, I can't hit it any better than that. That was my low, trappy draw, and it's finished in a very similar place. It's just rolled off the edge of the green, but very similar place to when I allowed for the wind. But I'm really happy with those results. I'm really happy with those shots. It's a tough one. Play both options. Experiment when you're on the golf course in practice. But I do think when you can, try and play with the wind. You saw that 24 mile an hour left-right wind. I hit a very neutral first shot and it finished 23 yards right to target. So I almost made a yard of difference. But it does depend on the shot shape you hit. If you're a drawer and you're playing with a left to right wind, it might neutralize it a little bit. If you're a fader, it's going to exaggerate that even more. I don't find anyone who's very Henrik Stenson neutral straight down the line. So you've got to see how it affects you. Hopefully that video's helped. It was a bit of fun filming it. Do give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel for all the other content coming Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Thanks, guys.